continent, and I've had the challenge and the privilege of living in different areas and different countries in Africa, a lot of change is really driven by private endeavor. So it can be private enterprise, it can be individual endeavor. But what we are all working towards, I think it's a stated vision, even of the government of the Gambia, is creating the environment for these people to do what they do and drive the country forward. So Mr. Mustafa Njai needs no introduction. I have a personal story to tell on this. The fact that he took his time, came here, and has stayed with us here throughout the day, it's something that we are extremely grateful for. But I think more importantly is what he is doing broadly. The TAF Startup Academy, there's a lot that you see on him. But I think these activities, we will not see the value immediately, because the value is in changing mindsets and in changing and educating a generation of young entrepreneurs who are going to make a big difference to what we do. So this is just a small certificate, but we really want to say a big thank you to you for your time and your dedication and support for this country and its development. Thank you.
Thank you. It's fine. Thank you very much. And if I can please call on Ms. Ami Bensouda to do us the honors of giving the certificate out, the handing over. Thank you. So before Ms. Ami Bensouda gets on stage, the certificate reads, again, this certificate of appreciation is awarded to Mr. Mustafa Njai for his continued effort in supporting the development of the entrepreneurship ecosystem in the Gambia. Signed by the MD.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Uncle Taf. He did say that he was going to stay the whole day, and he's keeping his promise, so thank you very much. I would now like to call on to the stage Mr. Malik Jallo, who is going to be moderating the second panel. Malik Jallo is a treasurer at the bank, and he also runs a TV show at QTV. All right. As Uncle Taf said in the beginning of the program, he now uses a stopwatch, and I'm hoping that all of us can adopt that since we are running a little bit behind time. So the time frame for the workshop is going to be an hour. Good. In the meantime, while he's taking the time to set up, Table Soft is going to be presenting next, and Waichit. So if you can please go behind the stalls, there is iAfrica TV, and they can help you with your presentations. Thank you very much. And do you have a mic there? Awesome.
Good afternoon. I would love to introduce myself, but first of all, I will let my panelists do them the honor to introduce themselves. I will start with Mrs. Senghor.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Njilan Senghor. I'm the Managing Director of Trust Bank. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Awa Mary Lokan, and I am the founder of Woman Boss at Innovate Gambia.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kausu Fadera. I work with the Gambia Youth Chamber of Commerce as an Enterprise Development Officer.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Abdulkarim Baji, Assistant Program Coordinator for the Gambia Tech Project and a Digital Inclusion Intern at the International Telecommunications Union.
Thank you. I must confess that this is my first time I'm moderating such a powerful panel. the individuals here are the kind of people that we believe are going to move this country forward. But let's get to it. I am Malik M. Jallo, and I'm currently the Asset Liability Manager of Guaranty Trust Bank Gambia Limited, but I'm here on my behalf. Our discussion is investing in key sectors of the Gambian economy. If you look at statistics properly, we will realize that the main drivers of the economy are services and agriculture. Up until recently, tourism was the subdominant sector in the service industry, or the service area. But recently, we have seen wholesale and retail sales trading also coming up, taking a huge chunk of the service output. And this has to do with small businesses, big commodity importers, and the like. And I think that makes me believe that GAIN and its activities, it's on spot. But let's make it quick. Mrs. Gilan, congratulations on your role. And my first question goes to you. And looking at the banking system, we have 12 commercial banks. And the top 4, your bank is among the top 4. If we look at the earning asset structure of the banking industry, we realize that almost 69% of more is in investments, mainly funding government debt. And only 39% is in loans and advances. What would you think, or what would you say is the reason that commercial banks find it more attractive to loan to the government than small businesses, from your experience and your role?
Thank you, Malik. The statistics you quoted are very right. And I think the simple answer is it's a balance of managing risk versus performance. Up until recently, treasury bill rates were very attractive. And we are told that treasury bills are risk-free investments. And they are, in fact, because even in calculating our prudential ratios, in liquidity ratios, it helps. In capital adequacy ratios, it helps. Lending, on the other side, comes with a whole lot of risk, even though the returns are higher. But in this market, it comes with problems with non-performing ratios. It affects profitability, it affects capital. So the simple answer is banks weigh between managing risk and improving performance. And like I said, up until recently, the returns on investments were high enough that that was the easier thing to do. But of late, we've seen that the risk-free investments have declined in terms of returns, and banks are either stuck with a lot of excess liquidity, or they have to do what banks should do, which is to lend and participate in financial intermediation. Industry loan book is about $12 billion. And industry loan to deposit ratios is 24%. So you can tell that it is pretty low. I'm happy to say, though, that Trust Bank represents 1/3 of industry loans. And our loan to deposit ratio is 44%. So I think we have a lot to say about why we've taken the decision to move in that direction as opposed to staying with risk-free investments. And I'm sure later on during the discussion, I'll be able to expand on those.
Okay. I would just brush up a little bit or follow with just a short question on that. Your bank does good when it comes to loans, that is evident. Do you think small businesses especially understand what banks require when it comes to loan issuance? Because somebody walks into the bank and they tell you, I have collateral. But as a sound banker, you would know that we are more interested in the cash flows than fixed assets that may take time to liquidate. Do you think people really understand, or businesses or small business entrepreneurs really understand what you look for or what you're interested in terms of issuing loans to them?
No, I don't think they understand. We get told all the time that banks don't lend. And let me tell you, banks in Gambia are awash with liquidity. And most of that liquidity is sitting idle, zero returns. So it doesn't make sense that there's an avenue for good lending and we say no. So the issue is that there are certain things we're looking for that are absent in the interactions we have with especially early stage businesses. I want to say the simple truth, the honest truth, which is probably hard for me to say and harder for entrepreneurs to hear, is that early stage businesses are not a good fit for banks. I mean, that's the simple truth. Because a lot of people think that lending should be on the basis of collateral. I have collateral and therefore I should be able to access financing. But collateral is one of a few things that we look at. Some of the things we look at are character. Do you have something to speak for you? Do you have a credit history to speak for you? What about reputation? What about credibility? We need to understand all of those things. Your business, does it have the capacity and is it generating cash flows to be able to pay whatever loan you're taking? What about capital? What is your own skin in your business? Because you cannot expect a business to be fully financed by debt. It cannot be. It has to be a mix of debt and equity. And a lot of the time what we see is that businesses don't have enough capital. What about collateral? Okay, that's the one that most people have. It's important, but it's probably not the most important. And then there's the other issues we look at, the general macroeconomic environment, specific issues in the sectors that you're operating in. Some sectors are riskier than others. We have to look at all of these. We call them the 5 C's. Where you're weak in one, it can be compensated for in another. But overall, it is important that we're able to assess you individually on each of these 5 C's. And unfortunately, early stage businesses especially are not able to demonstrate that they meet the requirements in these 5 key areas. Something else that we also have issues with is that in this environment, a lot of businesses don't have financials to back up their application. It is probably a strange thing to me that in this country, audited financials are not mandatory requirements, even at the level of GRA. Their way of skirting around the issue is to increase the tax rate for not presenting audited financial accounts. I'm not sure whether the additional percentage they're charging for presenting unaudited financial statements is enough to compensate for charging a business the normal tax rate on the true volumes of their business. But you cannot access finance if you cannot even provide audited financial statements. Then what will the assessment be based on?
Thank you. Not to concentrate too much on Ms. Njilan, I'll move to Ms. Our Mary Lowe. The woman boss is making progress in playing a pivotal role in society by helping to reshape the business mentality of women and also encouraging them to get into business. I find this particularly interesting because my mom had a small business, had a restaurant. In the afternoon, early morning, she goes to the market to sell vegetables. And in the evening, she's selling dinner, a lot of things that she was running at the same time. But eventually, it failed. So I want to know, from your experience through helping women into their businesses, what is the most common challenge all of them face when you have conversations with them?
So thank you for that question. Mainly the women entrepreneurs that I've worked with here in the Gambia, majority of the challenges, aside from capital, accessing capital. And accessing capital is affordable capital. Like, you know, I think Jilan just mentioned, there's capital, there's angel investment here too. as an angel investor. But affordable capital is one that's definitely very difficult because, again, women do not have equal access to collateral. We know that as well. Another challenge is really gender-based violence, and we don't like to talk about that. But most women come in with a lot of baggage in terms of patriarchal society, the way it's done here, the way business is done here, et cetera. Another challenge that I would say, aside from capital and the norms that you do see here, is equal responsibilities at home as well. So you think about a woman running a business right now, maybe by 3 o'clock, they have to go home to cook. So business got to shut doors because you don't have somebody else that can take over. Maybe they have to go pick up children, they have to take care of children, et cetera. So equal responsibilities at home, that's another factor as well that we do see. That's another reason why. But I think the main really, I think for today, because we talk about investment, the main really, again, is accessing capital. And affordable capital is so important to make sure that women can access.
Putting together what you've just said and what Ms. Senghor said, I'm not sure whether we have somebody from the policy section here. That would have been an appropriate question, but we have somebody from the Chamber of Commerce, which I have some questions for. It seems the private sector, especially the banking, is way in between risk and performance. And if Gambia is a heavily import dependent, our imports is more than 10 times our export. If you discount re-exports, because we do have re-exports, if you discount re-exports, our import is way. And this is putting so much pressure, it's like we are creating jobs offshore. It doesn't mean that we should not import, but there are basic commodities that we should produce. And small businesses create self-employment. Do you think that we need to have proper policy guidance and support? The previous panel made mention of funding from the ministry, either from a combination from the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Trade, to support these businesses to come up. Because even though if there is finance, it's not only finance. If I am engaged in a business that it's heavily in a commodity that is heavily imported, how will I survive? So do you think we need this kind of policy? And if we do, how are we going to make sure that it is really meeting the right people who requires the support, especially women? I'm very interested in women because if you go around our country in the markets, they pretty suffer. And some of them are financing our education. And it's tough times during the rainy season, you go to Tipagaro's market. What do you think this policy is important? How do we make sure it reaches them?
So I'll give you that. I think everybody can attest to that, everybody here. I mean, you have parents, you have mothers. 90% of what the woman makes goes back into reinvesting back into the homes. We know that majority of women here, they've put their children to school, et cetera. So aside from just not only making sure there's policies for that, I think just looking at the room, for example, and I hate to go there, the people that really need to be here today, they're not here today. So to hear exactly what we need to say. That is policymakers. That is some people from ministries, high-level positions from the ministries that's supposed to be here to listen to what we have to say so they can take back to make sure that there's policies that could be impacted, right? So whenever there's conferences, whenever there are forums or workshops that are going, the right people are never in the door. And I don't know why, but they're never in the door. So to take that, that's one step. Second, last year, around this time, I was chairing a committee brought in by the OSCP as an international organization. We created and passed a National Innovation Fund that was approved. The National Innovation Fund is approved. There was money allocated by the government. Where is it? We don't know, right? So again, policies can be made, but not implemented. And I think we have a lot of that as well, where we have a lot of policies that are just implemented and it's just sitting. Just like gender-based violence, just like FGM, just like so many. But going back to your question is, I think it's high time we start engaging the right people that need to be in spaces where policies are met. And that equals to something like this today or other forums. Policies that are going to change a woman's life. We're all here, definitely, entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs that are here that are doing great work. But they have support because there are organizations like us, there's organizations like ITC, that's YAP, that have injected so much capital resources for these entrepreneurs to learn. But what is the next step? Where do they know? Like, I think the question of Fatu that asked the question earlier is, how can I be a part of this? So everybody has a responsibility. They have a responsibility to pay. I have a responsibility to play in this. The banks, the government, so on and so forth. So I hope that answers your question is, again, engaging the right people in the right spaces. That is what needs to happen.
Thank you. As an economist, funding, when a lot of people talk about budgets, funding being approved, but you never see it, I think it's basically driven by our national budget and strategy. If you look at our budget, it's the allocations as per last year, more than 90% of all the different ministries were on recurrent expenditure. So basically we are just running to finish the day. We don't even know how we're going to wake up the following day. And I think that is one of the fundamental challenges we see people approach, or organizations or institutions approach to funding for policy directions, and then you never have access to the fund. But thank you for those brilliant answers. Like I said, this is my first time moderating, so I'm a bit slow, but I will learn fast. Mr. Kausu Fadera, the ecosystem. We use the word ecosystem, but there are a lot of things we are talking about, from information technology, from finance, from transportation, logistics, internet access. Do we really have an efficient ecosystem in this country for small businesses?
Thank you very much. I think that's a question that needs to be answered by almost all of the ecosystem players. But from my point of view, I think, but let me first give a ground of why the ecosystem, the entrepreneurship ecosystem. According to an ITC publication for 2 years ago, there are approximately 115,000 MSMEs in the Gambia. And these MSMEs contribute 20% to the GDP. But when you look at that as well, it's saying 77% of these MSMEs are not registered, means they are not formalized. And majority of these SMEs will even die before they get to their 3 years of operations. And so when you look at that problem, and it is believed to be because there are very few, if there is any, quality business development programs in the country. So ecosystem, this is where the role of the ecosystem comes. Your question whether we have an efficient ecosystem. I would say averagely, we have an average efficient ecosystem, yes. Why do I say this? When you look at the business support services that are delivered, from for example, my institution, we work with businesses that have already been established, and we support them to access market, and we do policy advocacy as well for the creation of the enabling environment. But when you look at our ecosystem, one important thing that plays a very vital role in entrepreneurship ecosystem is business incubation. And in the Gambia, unfortunately, we only have two ecosystem players that offers business incubation that I know of. That's the Startup Incubator and the Boost Gambia. These are the two institutions that I know of that offers business incubation programs. And why do I say it is important for us to look at this area if we want efficiency? When people decided to go into business, maybe it's either the person have an idea, just an idea, or maybe the person have the money to invest in a business, to start his or her own business. But they don't know, they might not have the knowledge to go about. They might not even know the area that they need to invest, they want to invest on. They need people to guide them. They need a program to guide them to invest in to do the right investment, not just to do the right investment, but to also guide them to be able to grow that business beyond their vulnerability period, which is 3 years, because most of them fail within the first 3 years. And this is a little bit lacking in our ecosystem, which is making it a little bit difficult for it to be efficient. And the second thing is the lack of coordination within the ecosystem. That is, if there is coordination, it's just recently that I have seen a lot of ecosystem players coming into partnership. Why do I say there is a lack of coordination? When you look at the players, you will see everyone going into the same activities. What I believe is within the ecosystem, there should be a program that will guide from incubation, from idea stage, will support entrepreneurs from idea stage, up to a stage that we can say they can be on their own now. And we have institutions that are playing role in all these sectors currently. But there is no coordination mechanism that would say this particular institution will deal with people that are with ideas, support them, incubate their businesses up to they get to a stage that they have a product or service to sell. And when they are at that point, there is another institution, 2 or 3 institutions that they can be attached to, that will support them to get to a stage that they need to scale up. And when they get to that, there should be other institutions that will pick them from that stage to get them to to graduation from the business support program. And but someone mentioned, Saho mentioned, we have overfed some of our young businesses. Yes, because most of them will spend, depend on support up to 3-4 years, and they will not graduate, they will not grow. Some of the businesses that have been, I know of some of the businesses that have been supported for more than 4 years, and they still could not have more than 2 employees. And the idea is for you to be supported, create employment, and you graduate, you create the space for someone else. But this is not their fault. I believe it's the fault of the ecosystem players. If there is a proper coordination, we will have a process that will guide every young entrepreneur or every entrepreneur that go through the program, and they will graduate in 2-3 years, and their businesses will be sustainable. The coordination mechanism is important, and incubation is key. Another thing is, we may talk about access to finance, and I believe the GAIN could be very instrumental in this. I believe it's 2 years since it was established, and if you look at the people that they are, like they mentioned 2 portfolio companies that they had. It could be more than this. How? I think the issue is we don't have a lot of investment ready companies in the Gambia, especially within the SMEs. But what could have been done, they could have done is, there is an existing ecosystem. And when GAIN could have engaged all the partners, because these ecosystem partners are the ones directly working with these entrepreneurs since from the starting. If they are engaged and the ecosystem partners have an understanding of what is meant by investment ready, and they will consider this in their program to ensure every entrepreneur that goes through their programs have that readiness to be able to access private investment or individual investment. I think that could have been a very good model where GAIN will be engaging ecosystem players so that they develop these entrepreneurs to be ready for investment. I think that's one key thing that we will be able to overcome the challenge of access to finance.
So you made mention that SMEs, some of them die very quickly, and some of them are overfed. Some other panelists mentioned. Do you think it's because of wrong targeting, the kind of businesses we are targeting that do not grow, they don't have opportunity to grow the business line that they have taken, or maybe some of them then even actually understand the objective that they are driving at? Could that be the reason? Do you think so?
So, as I said, we have a lot of organizations within the ecosystem, players, playing in different stages. If this is well coordinated, I think we will not have entrepreneurs been spoon-fed for so long. Because at any stage, you will realize yourself that, okay, I am now more than the support that this institution is offering. Then I need to move to another place. This is when they can progress one step or the other to even graduate from requesting from supports. So if the ecosystem is well coordinated, we will do away with the issue of entrepreneurs being fed, spoon-fed for so long. And another thing I think the ecosystem need to also look at is, in the Gambia, most of these services are accessed for free. When you go to other countries, you see entrepreneurs paying for some of the trainings that we have here for free. And when you advertise a training for application, you can receive 3 times more than the number that you require. But at the end, sometimes when you try to do your shortlisting, you find it difficult to even get the number that you require. Because from their applications, you could easily know that this person applied because it is an application launch. There is not the person that they have for the field or the training that's why they want to attend. So, but when it is, because it's free, when you said it's a paid training, you will not even get to the number that you want. So that shows that some of the young people or our entrepreneurs don't want to invest in their capacity, to build their capacity. They don't want to invest to help themselves to grow their businesses. So I think that's one key area that our entrepreneurs also need to look into. You cannot get everything for free if you really mean business, if you really want to grow. Sometimes there are services that you need to pay. Because of the free services, some of them will keep staying. They will not grow. So when we start attaching fees to some of these services, I think where you put your money, you will want to get benefits. And these benefits will help you to grow.
Thank you. Mr. Almari, I would just throw this to you before I come to the gentleman close to me here. A lot of, on this panel and before, we have mentioned, or they have mentioned investment ready. What does it mean when you say business is not investment ready, or is investment ready?
So investment ready for me, when I look at a business that will come in, a portfolio that will come in, is, do you have everything that it takes for me to take my money and invest in that company? Jilan mentioned that earlier when she said, the mitigation of risk. So if I come in, let's say, you need $100,000 just to make it on layman terms, and that, let's just make it a little bit bigger. $2 million is that you want me to invest, and you don't have your financials ready. You're not tracking financials for the past 2 years, 3 years, 4 or 5 years. You don't know what your best-selling product is. You don't have future projections. You don't know the value of your business. You overvalue it. That is risky for me. That tells me that you're not investment ready. So that's pretty much a simpler way to put it. And I want to go back to what you commented in, there's a couple service providers. I think, to be honest, in the Gambia, we have so many, and everybody does a great job. If I look at our room, just looking up, you have the Chamber, you have Gain Us as well, Innovate Gambia, Woman Boss, GIPA, and the Tech Project, and so on and so forth. Most of us have seen the same entrepreneurs. I've worked with entrepreneurs that went through the incubator, Gambia incubator. They've gone through GWCC, GCCI. It's the same entrepreneurs that are recycled. How come they're not ready? What can we do to help them to get ready? I hate to say this, but majority of entrepreneurs, not all, but majority are not hungry. You're not ready. You're not hungry enough, right? And that's the problem that we have. When we give you the feedback, instead of taking the feedback and making it to the best, you take the feedback and say, whatever, and you keep on moving, right? And so taking that feedback and trying to say, let me work really hard to get my financials ready. Every money that I invest into this company, let me track it, right? Because that's the one thing that we all see. I'm sure you see it. Finances. You see it at the bank. Nobody can tell you what they made last month. Majority cannot tell you that because they don't want to keep track of it. Again, accountability. I'll give you another example. Currently, right now, for the past 2 or 3 months, we've had an accelerator program launched. One of the largest accelerator that's pumping money into entrepreneurs. Do you know how difficult it is to get entrepreneurs to apply for this program? That's actually giving you money, giving you software, giving you opportunities, but they don't want to apply. Some of the entrepreneurs that need to apply, they feel they're too big now. Oh yeah, I got a status. No, you don't. And you're sitting in a platform and you're asking for money. That's the whole thing. Get yourself ready and also hold yourself accountable.
That's powerful. Ms. Gilad, what she just mentioned touches or triggered one word in my mind: capacity. These small businesses around, do they really have the capacity? Because when you open an Excel file in front of a banker, we can play with it the whole day. But when you open an Excel file in front of some of them, it's very difficult for them to understand that record is important. How do we get them understand that, and how do we make sure they're actually on track to build up their capacity so that they can meet these requirements that she just mentioned to be investment ready?
I say every time.
If you can make it a little bit short.
Yeah,
please.
You cannot be a business leader if you do not understand your numbers. You need to understand your numbers. That's basic 101. You cannot make business decisions that will have financial consequences and may affect the viability of your business if you don't know what the numbers are saying. And most of the time when they come to the bank and they want to access financing, even if they do bring financials, you can tell they don't understand what it means. You see financials that are showing that you have more liabilities than assets, and you want to come and borrow some more. Or you have businesses that the owner has put in some capital, but a very little amount of capital is classified as capital, and the rest of it is called loan from director. Why are you lending to your business? And then coming to the bank to add some more. Or you see people borrowing money from the bank, and then there's another account called loan to directors. So you're borrowing from the bank to finance a lifestyle. So there is a lot of education that needs to happen. We have started, and I think this is a good platform for that, but I encourage all entrepreneurs to take time and find resources that will help them to up their game in terms of understanding finances, financials, and the business decisions that they make, how it will impact on their numbers.
Thank you. Now I come to the gentleman. I've kept you waiting for a long, because you are the backbone of whatsoever we're talking in this 21st century of the global economy. When you mention computer science and technology, I told a colleague some time ago, one of the most attractive jobs right now is computer scientist or software engineering. But one that is really coming up is a data analyst. Being able to interpret or give sense to the data that is being churned out by algorithms is very important. What do you think we need fundamentally for ICT to be really, absorbed in our system, not only in small businesses, but across the board? If you go to our schools, the way we are teaching system, I was arguing with someone that they should put ICT as a core subject, not as a subject that if you wish to take, you take. So what do you think we need to make this part of our system as an economy?
So thank you so much for that interesting question. But before diving in to respond to that particular question, I would just love to add to what my fellow panelists were discussing, regarding investment readiness, especially when it comes to the side of the young entrepreneurs. The fact of the matter, and then the truth, is that success comes when preparation meets opportunities. And then, yes, finance is actually important when it comes to young startups growing up. They need the seed capital, because at the end of the day, that is what is going to serve as a vehicle or a catalyst to kind of drive their business to get to wherever it wants to be. But then in that regard too, you need to invest in yourself. You need to have the passion and the drive to get your business to wherever it wants to go. And this is where vision comes in, this is where passion comes in, and commitment as a whole. A lot of entrepreneurs have been attending a lot of trainings here in this country, but at the same time, you see them struggling with finances, you see them struggling with regards to scaling up their businesses. So the problem now comes, or the question that one would actually ask is, with all the monies that these entrepreneurs have been actually receiving from the incubation programs that they have been attending, from the entrepreneurship training here and there, where is the money? Where are they actually putting this money into? So to me, the bottom line is this. If you really want to be an entrepreneur, if you really have the passion and the desire to grow, you need to invest in yourself, and you need to come up with products that addresses the needs and aspirations of the people, because every problem or every business that comes in is there to solve a problem. You cannot just copy someone else's business model and come and paste it and then think it's actually going to work in this market. It is not. You need to do your market research. You need to invest the time, energy, and resources needed to be able to scale up that. And the money that you're actually going to receive perhaps would be an added value. But more of it actually have to come up with you with regards to your interest and passion to be able to get there. And then to your question, when it comes to technology, the heart of it is actually connectivity. Today, we have seen countries like Rwanda, like Kenya, like even our immediate neighboring country here, Senegal, doing amazingly well, especially when it comes to providing digital literacy and awareness among its people. In the Gambia, it is sad to say, even when you go to the University of the Gambia, you see students struggling with even filling forms. You see them struggling when it comes to filling online applications, even when they're applying for universities. When it comes to the business sector, a lot of entrepreneurs are actually maybe perhaps having the will and desire to integrate technology or leverage technology into their businesses. But the saddest reality is that they find it difficult to be able to operate that and then be able to use it effectively and efficiently. The question now comes in, where is the problem? What is the challenge? And what is actually stopping us as a country from getting to wherever we want to be or building an ecosystem that is driven by technology? So first, it starts with the educational system. Education is meant to prepare people with the skill set as well as the mindset needed to grow in every situation they find themselves in. When you look at, for example, our educational curriculums today, I could vividly remember when I was in junior school, let's say primary school, going to junior school or even to high school. The only thing I had been taught is how to use Microsoft Office or Office application in particular, and then creating, let's say, folders on your laptops here and there. That is not the need. That is not the call for, let's say, technological revolution in this 21st century. It goes beyond that. And then what is needed, like you said, just last week, we were having a discussion in that aspect on introducing technology or ICT as a core curriculum in schools, just like how you would have commerce, science, and let's say arts in schools, because it is a need. And in whatever you do today, whether it's from the business side, whether it's from the health sector, whether it's from the agricultural sector, technology is a need. And then moving from the educational aspect, the other part of it that we also need to focus on is, for example, bridging the digital divide. And my supervisor would always tell me this, like the heart of growth of every technology would lie on 3 megatrends. One of them is access, second is affordability, and third is accessibility. So access is about having the right infrastructures, which includes the broadband, and then making sure that wherever you go in this country, you are able to access the internet effectively and efficiently without facing a lot of challenges. Just recently, I traveled to Jokadu. We were kind of doing a data collection, and one of the things I was trying to do was to at least try to do, let's say, a speed test comparison in terms of latency, uploading, and then the download speed of the different networks. But sadly, I wasn't able to do that. Why? Because I wasn't getting any internet connectivity in those areas. So how can we revolutionize technology and making sure that everyone is actually involved or inclusive within the process when majority of the population are actually marginalized. So the next one is actually affordability, which is also a key. Yes, having the infrastructure is important, but if people are not able to afford these internet infrastructures or infrastructures that you're providing, it still draws back them to the same spot or where they actually had been. Why? You can have the infrastructures, because if I do not have the money, how would I even buy the data? And if I'm not able to buy the data, how can I leverage on the opportunities that technology is offering? And then last but not the least is accessibility, which is also very important. Yes, it is important to draw technologies to develop them and here and there, but making sure that the right policies and the right infrastructures are also put in place to make sure that everyone is actually inclusive within the process is also something that you need to put into consideration.
To be fair to you, I will cut you short so that I can give you another question, because I've engaged them much more. Adopting technology has to come with the willingness to, accept change. Are Gambians receptive to change when it comes to technology? Banks have mobile applications, they have ATM, the Q money, you can buy your credit and your cash power, but you go to Nawek, you still find long queues. You go to the banking halls, you find a long queue. Are we receptive to change, especially technological change?
So yes, I think that's actually a very interesting question, because at the end of the day, technology needs to be embraced by the end users themselves. Yes, these companies would actually come up with a solution, because like we said, we are driving Gambia to become that tech hub or space that is actually driven by technology. And for that to happen, the end users or the people that are actually using these platforms also need to accept and embrace these technologies. And the problem is, for example, in my case, I hate going to the bank now to go and withdraw money. I hate going to the ATM, or let's say, for example, to the cash power selling points to go and buy cash power. Why? Because I have all the apps on my phone. I can sit wherever I am, even at the middle of the night, when my cash power goes off, and I'll just log in and then buy it. And then especially recent with the USSD integration of the, let's say, for example, with AfriCell and then GT Bank or EcoBank, I can, even without internet, I am able to use my mobile phone and then buy credit or, let's say, pay certain bills without actually having the internet itself. So when it comes to a Gambian context, in terms of embracing technology, I think it is still lacking. A lot of us are lagging behind. I don't know why, but we need to understand that understanding digital platforms, especially embracing technology, goes beyond understanding how to go online and then be posting on social media, because this is where most of us are actually addicted to. It goes beyond that. So we need to appreciate that and then.
Thank you. I think we are running out of time, so I will give each 30 seconds to say what, your last words about what we have discussed so far. I have learned a lot from this panel as my first time to moderate. So 30 seconds. Let's start from Ms. Njilan.
Thank you. Speaking purely from a commercial banker experience, I'm encouraging entrepreneurs to start thinking about how to set up their businesses without straight away running to banks. It's very important to start having relationships with banks from a very early stage, but not with the intention of borrowing. You can get expert advice from banks about how to structure your business and how sometime along the way, during the lifespan of your businesses, you will be able to access bank financing, but it is not the #1 goal very early on in your businesses.
Thank you.
So my hopefully takeaways for you entrepreneurs that are around the room that are looking for investment, and this is me wearing my GAIN hat here, is that we definitely need a lot of viable businesses. We have the funds ready, we just need good businesses that are ready so that also we can invest on it. And so again, it goes back to get your businesses ready, do what you gotta do. When the feedback is given, please take it seriously, improve it, bring it back, let's look at it.
Yeah, I will just close my statement with answering a question that came during the previous.
Right. I skipped the question session. How many questions do I have? Okay, thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. Can we get them the mic?
So as we wait on that, there was a question that was raised in the previous panel. There was a girl that asked, how can those of them that are not with any other organization can get the support the others are getting? I will tell you, we have 78% of our MSMEs are sole proprietors. They are owned by individuals, and they are facing the same challenge that you are facing. So get to where they are going, and you will get the support that they are getting. So if you sit alone outside the ecosystem, I will call it, you are not engaged with any other organization, you cannot expect to get the same support that people are moving, spending their resources to get the organization, request for support. You are not expected to get the same support that they are getting. So I will ask you to get to the right institutions, and you will get the support those people are getting.
Just give Mr. Babaka 30 seconds, and then your question comes forward, please.
So it's Abdul Karim.
Abdul Karim, yes, thank you.
So the thing is, I would say technology is here to stay. We are in the 21st century. Whether you accept it or not, whether you embrace it or leverage it, technology is here to move. And then the best thing that you can do is to accept it, invest the time, invest in the resources that you have, limited or whatever it may be, to make sure that you are part of the process. It took Uncle Taff time to be where he is today. It took CD time, energy, and resources to build his company to be where it is today. So technology defines whatever we are doing, and then we just have to accept it. But for this to happen, collaboration and partnership is needed in terms of building the infrastructures, but at the same time creating more awareness so that we can move along as a people and as a country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I can say I'm very, very fortunate to be, witnessing such an amazing event like this. Okay. Just to add a few things on what you said, also on the process, but what I realized is many of the entrepreneurs and the many people who call themselves that they want to one day become investors, and then so many like that, did not differentiate the differences between liability and then asset. As a startup business person, your first profits that you get from your business, you spend all that in liabilities, and then you want success in your businesses. I believe that is one of the key factors that many people failed in their businesses. Because I can bear witness, a few weeks ago, I just closed a deal with 3 of my friends. In the next 2-3 days, I saw them riding a BMW. It's so amazing. I couldn't understand it. They come to me and then say, Dema, wow. I said, what is this? The money that you should use to refinance your businesses, but you said no. You spend everything in liabilities. In the few months later, you're going to fail. I think it's one of the key factors that many people fail. And I believe this will be an opportunity for many people to be financially literate, to teach people about finance, cash flows, and others. And one of my questions is this channel, is this people ready to link the entrepreneurs to the investors also? Thank you so much.
Who wants to answer that?
Thank you very much. Sorry, there was this.
Yes, you can.
Okay, so I'll answer that now, but hopefully everything that I've said would at least make sure that you know that this is exactly what we're here for. My organization, the Woman Boss, Innovate Gambia, I'm sure yours, etc., the Disruptive Lab, this is what we're here for. So I'm hoping that you understand that we're here to take the entrepreneur to the next level, to the next journey. I mean, GAIN itself, they hold various trainings as well to get investment-ready companies. So it's a matter of, like he mentioned before, find the opportunity, and then the opportunity will get you to the other opportunity.
Yeah, the second question. Yeah.
Hello everyone, my name is Modu Chalo, the founder of School of AI Gambia. I had the moderator emphasizing about data analytics and data science. I am one of those lucky Gambians who have the opportunity in order to explore those areas. Coming back to the Gambia, before even coming back to the Gambia, being part of the School of AI, global. Wanting to set up School of AI in the Gambia here has resulted in so many things. Example, for instance, every single thing is being set up. I just want to start operating, but I have issue with NACA. Because of one of the major issues that they told me the license that I need to acquire will definitely cost $50,000 non-refundable. So even if I have whatsoever kind of investment, taking $50,000 non-refundable, investing it in license, that doesn't seem appealing to me. So I think not only are we, only asking for investment, but then also trying to level the playing field for other young Gambians in order to be able to do that. Right now, I am stuck in the middle, investing all of that amount of money that I have. I am here not having actually the license in order to operate. I've engaged some of these stakeholders from one ministry to another, written so many kind of proposals just to engage them, but until now, I don't have any reply. And most of my friends outside are calling me, what the heck are you doing in the Gambia? So this is really demotivating. I think stakeholders will definitely, look forward to some of these things.
Thank you very much. That's a good one.
Okay, I think those were the number of questions we were allowed to take.
I can just quickly answer that because I actually worked with entrepreneurs last year about the same thing. So the only people that can really help, I'm sorry, but it's the government right at this point. They either waive the fee for that, or they have, like we said, we passed the National Innovation Fund, and that is exactly what we're supposed to be funding. So talk to the Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Technology. That's where the National Innovation Fund is housed, and see what you get out of. Hopefully that answers.
Thank you. They're signaling us that time is up. I think what we have taken from this panel is that policy does not only have to be written, but also implemented. Businesses also need to understand their business lines and need to have fundamentals of finance itself, so that banks will also be able to take risks and give them loans. And also entrepreneurs need to have a basic education of the kind of business they want to engage in, and also the zeal and the passion to work, like they said, to move from one point to another. I think they have mentioned it all, but I think this was brilliant altogether, and thank you guys for all being here, and thanks to GAIN for having this workshop today.
Good. Thank you very much, Mr. Malik. I think now we can excuse you guys. I'm always happy to see powerful women. Thank you very much. I apologize. I know the Seasains, and I said again, the Giants are hungry for the lunch. But if you can indulge me, I will need just additional 10 more minutes to have the two businesses to pitch before we go on to lunch. So please help me welcome TableSoft CEO, Ms. Kumbel Good, on the stage, please. Awesome. All my girls winning, huh? Good. Thank you. Awesome. Do you, oops. Okay. Ouch. Sorry. Good.
Hello, good afternoon. I know everybody is hungry, so I'll speak as fast as I can. but I just want to make sure that I put my point across. As Menge explained, I am Kumbel Good, the CEO for TableSoft, and I'm here to present our pitch deck. Yes. So TableSoft is a technology company, but our main focus is on financial technology. And basically what we are trying to do is we are committed to promoting digital financial inclusion through a range of financial services that we are offering. Now, TableSoft so far has remained operational through bootstrapping. So we've been in existence for a year. We started operations in 2021 here in the Gambia, but we also have a sister company, Table Limited, in the UK, and they started operation in 2019. Now, we have remained operational through bootstrapping, and so far, with the progress that we have been able to make, we have been able to sign up 400 agents on our platform, which I'll introduce shortly. 400 agents on our platform, and within a year, we've been able to generate a revenue of $80,000 and have record 625,000 transactions to date. Now, everything I'm explaining, you're wondering what the product is. And the product is simply TablePay. Now, TablePay is a digital wallet, and it basically provides a one-stop shop for financial services. So we are talking whether you want to pay your bills, whether you want to pay for services, whether you want to apply for loans. TablePay is the solution that we wish to offer. And not only do we see TablePay as a product, but the ecosystem that we create around TablePay is as important. And it's available for businesses, agencies, and individual use. Now, what is the problem we are trying to solve? So we did not just create TablePay out of amusement. Now, in 2019, a FinScope report was generated, and this basically revealed that 95% of the Gambian population are unbanked. And this is not because they do not desire to be, but there are other mitigating factors that are hindering this progress. And one of those factors is the poverty rate that we have. Individuals would, of course, rather wish to spend that money instead of saving it. There's high amount of time and money spent when it comes to accessing financial services, whether it's going to a bank or whether it's a microfinance institution. Reports have shown that we spend approximately 10% in transactional costs, and this covers the amount of time it takes to travel to this institution and, of course, the long queues that we always encounter when we get there. There's also a digital vacuum. Now, there's more than 93% in our population that are using mobile phones. And 98% of these admit that they do not use it for any mobile money or any digital payment service. The Gambia also has one of the highest remittance costs across sub-Saharan Africa, being rated 10% and under. We also have limited access to online services, and this is mainly for our diaspora community. So basically, whenever they access services or desire to pay for a service, the only thing that they can do is really send the money locally, as opposed to just spending their money on the direct service that they would wish for. This is where TablePay comes in. Now, this is a screenshot of the app that we've developed. But TablePay, as I mentioned, is not only about the service, but about the ecosystem and the network that we create around this service. Now, with TablePay, you are able to pay your bills, receive or send remittance. We are also ensuring that businesses are able to go borderless. We offer white labeling service, access to the diaspora on services here in the Gambia, and also you are able to reload cash in and out. Basically, what we want to do is through the network of service that we have on TablePay and the network of agents, the network of merchants, and the network of MTOs that we have, every transaction that you wish to conduct digitally, you can just with our platform. Now, in bill payment, you're able to purchase, currently able to purchase basic services, cash, power, airtime, and the likes. Remittance, you're able to send and receive money, either directly into your wallet or into your bank. Allowing businesses go borderless. We've all here mentioned MSMEs. One challenge that we have is being able to provide our services outside of the Gambia. With the platform that we are able to provide, you can actually now request for funds to be transferred directly into your own wallet, as opposed to through the conventional route. You're also able to reload cash in and cash out money, giving access as well to the diaspora to now purchase services directly as opposed to sending the money. They can now buy fuel, for example, give you a fuel coupon online as opposed to sending you the money to go to the fuel station. And we also offer white labeling and embedded services. So what are the opportunities that this presents? There's high remittance inflow into the Gambia. There's an ever-increasing number of smartphone subscribers across the continent and even in the Gambia. There's high mobile money transactions regionally, and whereas is evident recently, the same increase is being recorded in Gambia, and there's a large unbanked population. As we are able to tap into these resources, this is how we're able to leverage on what Table Pay can do. Our competitive advantage. Now, with all the services that we are able to provide and our current ecosystem that exists, we have telcos, we have banks, we have MTOs, we have as well other software companies or fintech companies, and we have Table Pay. From all of this list, these are the things that we aim to provide and are providing right now, ranging from bill payment, utilities, down to acquisition of license. So you are able to see from this table where the vision basically for Table Pay. Our business model. So for every transaction, we are able to generate a revenue of 1 to 7.5% on every transaction. And an estimated revenue per merchant per month is around $100, and per revenue per domestic user per month is $3. Now, our key target are business owners, the diaspora community, which make up 4.3% of the population, the adult population here in the Gambia, and of course, organizations and institutions. Now, for all of these areas, what can we provide? For the diaspora, we are allowing the diaspora community to access more services here in the Gambia. Now, as opposed to just sending the money, they can actually be able to actively participate in what the recipient would receive. Businesses are now able to extend the reach of their services locally, not only locally, but internationally as well. Corporations, we offer information management systems as well that reduce time spent on basic financial transactions. And of course, for the general adult population here in the Gambia, we're aiming to promote a cashless society. And through your digital platform, through the digital wallet that we are able to provide, you can access multiple services. Now, our addressable market. So from the FinScope report, the total adult population was approximated to 1.3 million. And 95% of that population is unbanked. This equates to 1.25 million, 1.26 million. And at minimum, TableSoft aims to reach at least 20% of this market. Our go-to-market. So we have different distribution strategies, and we aim to utilize an omni-channel strategy where we're going directly to the consumer, but also using our network of partners. And the partners would include brick and mortar, individuals that have brick and mortar spaces. We aim to go directly to the consumer. We also aim to offer white labeling service, but also create a network of agents and merchants. Since our launch in Q4 2021, this is the traction we have been able to make. From the number of transactions, we've recorded 625,000. We've been able to sign up 400 plus individuals as agents, meaning jobs created. And we also have a network of 700 merchants and Forex branches currently signed up. Now, we've successfully launched multiple phases of this project. Phase 1 being to deliver a service for cash power and airtime. Basically, from our platform now, you can purchase cash power and airtime services for yourself or as a business. And as a business entity, we've been able to create 400 jobs across the Gambia. This is within the 1 year that we've been in existence. In phase 2, we've been able to extend this service to offer remittance services. People can now send and receive money via our wallet. Phase 3, of course, before we are able to go ahead with majority of the plants here in the Gambia, you require a license. And we would not want to make any more progress without acquiring that license. Stage 2 is where we are at this point. Currently, our team has 8 full-time members and 5 part-timers, and it comprises of individuals with decades of technical expertise across different areas. So currently, we have a technical, operational, and business development units, but one thing we are lacking is in marketing and sales. This is a limitation that we understand. When it comes to financials, as previously mentioned, we've been able to generate $80,000 in revenue, 2.0 million in transaction value, and 69% in gross profit margin. Our key cost drivers currently are salaries, bank charges, and outsourcing consultancies. Our monthly growth since inception is what you have on the screen. So we've been growing slowly but steadily. And this service has mainly been on just phase 1 of our implementation, which is in the vending of cash power and airtime. That is what has generated the revenue that I'm currently explaining. Now, our seed funding for round 1. The goal is to raise $200,000 via convertible notes to fund growth by obtaining our fintech license and, of course, expanding into the other phase of our project. This is just a cross-section of our senior team. Myself, we have Pa Esa Jabang as the CTO and Colin Dillon as our CEO. This brings me to the end of my presentation, but I just want to say that the app is actually available now on Play Store and the App Store to download. So if any one of you would want to give it a try, you are welcome to download. And I'm available for any investors that are ready for a chit-chat. I'll be sharing my card as well. Thank you.
A huge round of applause for her again. And shout out to all the female CEOs in the room. We have created a small huddle room just by the corner here. So for some of the businesses that are presenting today, if you find any value in them or want to further the conversation, you can go there as part of the B2B process. Next, I would like to invite Waichit by, I'm terrible with name, Mr. Jallo.
Thank you so much. Every once in a while, a revolutionary new product would come along, and it will change everything. Today, I unveil to you one of those products. This is a product that will not just change the way we make and receive payments, but it will change the whole payment ecosystem. But I'm not being wordy, and I also want to bore you with words. So I will show you why. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Waichit. Waichit, we like to call it the last mile in the payment space. We are not a wallet. We are a payment aggregator. We help you execute the last mile. And here I would want to indulge, Uncle Taff, you could kindly volunteer, so we could show how seamless it is to execute a payment on Waichit. Just, yeah, please. No. Yeah. You know, you need my phone. This one, yes. Uncle Taff here is the merchant. So he has the merchant app. So let's say I want to buy the book Taff the Builder from him. So he would create what we call a payment request. And he will put in the amount and the description. You could create a payment request. There's a button there that says create correct. You put in the amount. Yes. Yes, that's fine. You can give the description. And you can just click on the button. Now it's my turn as the customer. I'm buying from Uncle Tuff. All I have to do is to click on a single button that says scan to pay. Now, this is what I see. I want to pay with my Afri money. I want to pay with my Q money. I can also pay with a bank account. So this time around, I select Q money. The next step, click on pay. Put in my PIN, of course. And voila, the payment is done. Uncle Tuff receives a receipt that the payment is done. This is how seamless it is to execute a payment on WeChat. Thank you very much, Uncle Tuff. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, if you could kindly imagine this with me for a minute or two. Let's say you are at a gas station to pump fuel, of course. And then all of a sudden, you can't find your wallet. But you just remember that you actually have a coupon in your pocket. Whew. Oh my. That's a Castle coupon. And the nearest Castle gas station, it's like 15 minutes drive away from here. So ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Waycons. Waycons, as we fondly call it, is coupons with WeChat. This isn't coupon as you know it. These are gas station agnostic coupons. Fuel coupons you could redeem from any gas station. Let me show you how seamless it is to use it. I come here, create a new coupon. I select my amount, like say $1,000. This time around, I want to pay from my Q money instead of Afri money. I just click on purchase. I put in my PIN again, of course. And I'm done. Now let's say this time around we are at an Atlas gas station or a Logix gas station. So I select on the coupon that I just purchased. I clicked on select fuel company to select the gas station I'm at. And it's Atlas, so I select on Atlas. And then I put in my PIN again. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. A coupon that is gas station agnostic. A coupon that you could redeem from any gas station near you. So in the beginning, I said, we are not just changing or bringing you something that changes the payment ecosystem. But we also have something on board. We have the team, as Mr. Drame has said it. You need a fertile land. We have the team. And you need the seed, we have the product. And you have the water. That is the investment. So come on board and let's get this done. Thank you very much.
He said, don't say it, show it. Thank you so very much, Mr. Jallo. And on this note, I'm not going to hold you up. Yes. Yes. Sure. Whatever Uncle Tuff wants.
This is from experience, really. I don't know whether anybody watched my tweet on last week when I ran out of cash. You're laughing, CD. Did you hear that? I think it's important that you listen to this. But where is the regulator in all this? We all want to be cashless. But where is the regulator? I mean, I would want this in further discussions. Because for us to go to really take up all these apps that are now floating around, we need the regulator to come in. I mean, I left on Sunday to go to Dakar. First thing, I didn't have cash. I had my ATM card. 6 ATMs were not working. Can't we have regulation on all the petrol stations that they should at least accept these apps? Ferry terminal, you go there. I mean, there's no technology with buying tickets. And we all go across the ferry. I think the big question should come really, and this should be led by policymakers and the regulator. I'm sure central bank should come in here, plus who? Pura? But I mean, Nigeria again, 200 million, but nobody is cashless. You go even to the market now in Nigeria, you don't need to take cash. All the women, you do transactions, cashless. So in all these discussions, really, rather than try to sell us, apps that are available in the market, we need to drag the regulator to make sure that some of these outlets, use these applications. Thank you. I just thought I'll raise it now for our discussions.
Thank you, Uncle Taf. It's already 3 p.m. It's kind of late. So if you guys could please proceed to the end of the hall. The 2 staircases are on the left and right sides of the building for lunch. And please, can we get back in 30 minutes? All right, thank you.